My name is Yana. Welcome. And this is my channel, Yana the Heretic. This week we are filtering Gate 54 through our sun, so it is the main theme of the last 6 days, starting January 4th, going to January 9th. Gate 54 is the gate of ambition and the marrying maiden. This is our last gate, filtering the archetype on Godhead of Vishnu, which is the preserver. And we talked about Vishnu and all of his stories and his shape-shifting qualities through the Hindu culture, as well as this being another gate under the Vishnu Godhead that is in our root center. So last week we were filtering Gate 38, which is also reaching to the spleen. This is similar. It is Gate 54 reaching for Gate 32. So when it comes down to our intuition, we have a spleen that filters our primitive nature. So the hairs standing up on your spine, something within you that is telling you that this is alarming or this is wrong for you. It is an intuitive knowing, and it comes from the body. So it's reaching towards your spleen, towards your intuition. And I know that I have a lot of animals in my domain, so forgive me for any particular noises. I live around people and animals, and sometimes it could get hectic and shit, so give me feedback or whatever, you know, if you can hear me well. So, talking about Gate 54, ambition is really interesting, and the subtle things coming through the ether in my fields are very funny to me. Once I start getting really intimate with these gates, I'm like noticing shit that I don't normally do that is very much under the transit. So ambition is different than just having this driving force to do something. Ambition is things transforming around you and you being there for them. So how do you stand within the transformation? How do you act when things occur around you? And how do you show up for those things that are occurring around you? Are you going to freak out? Are you going to stand your ground and be patient? Are you going to take on a responsible role? Are you going to walk away? What does that look like for you? So we're still very much in this transformational time. It is winter in North America, so it is a little bit jolting to kind of feel this energy within my body, meaning that there's this transformation, but I'm also gauging it through rest and inner musings and being able to write and being able to read. So allowing things for me to take in and actually transform what is within me. It may not be the same for people who are experiencing sun. They may be transforming physically, or things are actually intentionally occurring or manifestations are occurring. But for me on the northern hemisphere, I feel very much like an internal transformation is occurring. This is the marrying maiden because it actually comes from an ancient Chinese story where a very poor girl who was the eldest daughter of 6, she was basically escorted to town to figure out her life for herself, and she had pretty much nothing. And she got recognized pretty swiftly by one of the emperor's what are they called? Like one of his assets or one of his servants, And he was like, hey, you know, you would be a great concubine for the emperor. And she accompanied him to the castle. I'm assuming castle. I'm not really sure. Um, the temple. I'm not. Yeah, in Chinese culture, I'm not sure what they call their um, emperor's domains, but she got accompanied there and became a number of many concubines that the emperor had. So he was getting old, and he realized that, you know, he had to pass down his riches to somebody, and she actually became the one that he passed down his riches to. So, you know, this is life saying like, hey, like, there's many options out there for a person to um you know, compete with. There's a lot of varying people that are fighting for this role, but you just magically get it. So that is really about how you show up, what is like formatted, you know, what's grounded within you that helps you show up in a particular way where people actually know that you're capable of taking on this role. So she came from nothing, became the Empress of China. And that is something that I found really interesting because I started watching Shark Tank yesterday. I've never watched Shark Tank, I never was interested. But since I am progressing in my own wealth consciousness, I'm seeking more material to just inherit, you know, and just to see what I can learn from people I normally would never desire to hear. But all of the investors, I found out, were actually people that started from nothing. And um, I was kind of angry, to be honest. I was like, why are people like fucking, you know, producing more waste for products that, you know, just are creating waste? But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Like, there's tons of inventions, there's tons of entrepreneurs right now, and it is of value. And to see somebody's story evolve when they come from nothing and they have families in other third world countries that they want to support, it was really, really potent to hear their story. And that's just, you know, showing up, having a great sales pitch, and getting somewhere, you know, knowing your numbers, knowing the math, feeling grounded in what you've already obtained by yourself. I know that I personally do have gate 54, and I have particularly line 4 in gate 54, and that is really it's one of the most mystical lines there are. And for me, it shows up as knowing and not knowing. So there's a deep, almost intuitive, seated knowing within, and it allows me to be in divine timing. And sometimes it doesn't always look like the way that it should. Sometimes I get the thing, I'm in the right place at the right time, I feel ecstatic about it, and almost like, you know, there's like a godlike feeling about it because you finally got what you felt you deserved through whatever it would be. Like, manifestation is a word that people use, but it's just being able to pulse, you know, out effectively what you desire. And a lot of the time it doesn't show up the way that I expect. So it's called enlightening or endarkening. So it can put you through a place where you have to learn a lot about yourself. It's not that you're not actually, you know, getting the role that you desire, but it might be hidden under a few layers. But the more you search for it, the more mystical it gets. So anybody else that has gate 54 line 4, I'm interested in how that shows up for you, because it can be very amazing as well as just weird. The things that occur and the synchronicities, whatever may happen on the mystical level or in other dimensional levels, and how you interpret that in the actual material reality. So gate 54 is about material wealth. It is about being able to reach towards something, going up the ladder, going up the hierarchy in order to feel comfortable, to be able to sustain this wealth. That's what everyone desires, right? You want to have that comfort because you're capable of freely expressing deeper and more when you have comfort, when you have all of your needs met. Healthy food, exercise, a routine, that all comes from wealth. You can't just really throw away your desire if you have this gate. You can't just say, well, these are, this is the place I've been put and this is where I will stay. That doesn't work for gate 54. So you're always reaching higher and higher. More and more work will be done and more seeds will be sown. And I see that so deeply and experience that so deeply because I do feel restless. I do not have my root defined, and I feel restless every single day to take on more tasks, to do more, to physically create more in order for somebody to see it and for me to gain this success that I deserve. And in all reality, the people that were successful, their monuments still stand. There's people in our history that could have completely gone under the radar and they made themselves be seen, or they were seen for their work. Their work is the very foundation of what we have lost as a culture. A lot of people read old philosophical texts, or they go and there's various archaeologists like Graham Hancock that goes and searches through old ruins in order to find the truth. And how the fuck did those monuments still stand to this day? We're still learning old technology and connection to the earth, connection to the soil, being able to nourish the soil beneath us with future intentions of wealth, technology. There are secrets hidden, and there's more and more coming to light. And the reason is because those people had enough wealth to create these monuments. So that is what I personally see as wealth, is being able to be remembered, because you have no idea what the future will behold. You have no idea, how many books will be burned, or, how long these monuments will stand. I don't know if they'll make it throughout the years. So you have to create more. And there is huge difference between living in a very modern culture compared to a very old culture. I've been to Poland this recent past summer, and they have cobblestone roadways from the 10th century. They have, churches and buildings that are now shopping centers, but they're old. And it is true, the more inspiration you get from how hard people used to work to build something, that inspires you so much greater than squareness, or I would say like the new evolution of cars. They don't fucking look cool. Like, they just don't, you know? Like, it's more aerodynamic, but, you know, I still want to look cool, you know? So it's like, you're taking away the potential creativity of making your vehicle something authentic and unique. You're not strapping extra stuff to it. You're just like completely shedding it of its like potential. So I consider older architectural landscapes to be very profound in my creativity, and it inspires that 54 within me to be like, yeah, like I'm gonna scale this, like I'm gonna figure it out, whatever it may look like, you know, materially. Like I desire to bring that back into our culture and to be speaking up about it more, you know, because we don't have to travel to go see these things. We could just make them happen if somebody actually thought, you know, hey, we got to start making housing like way better, you know, warmer, less acoustic or more acoustic for people to be able to have their privacy, whatever it is, you know? So, coming back to it, we are not filtering the whole channel of transformation. So, um, uh, without gate 32, which is the splenic match for gate 54, we tend to lose our focus on what is the most potent steps, or we don't really have a clear depiction of where we're going. We may put our fuel and narrow in on something that doesn't matter. So flying blind with a lot of energy, basically. And with gate 32, we're able to have those values ingrained deeply within us. So I'm fortunate enough to have my partner have the whole channel, but you know, you may want to think and dissect a little bit more to yourself about what you're going to do with your fuel, you know, especially if you are experiencing winter at this time. So whatever transforms for you, please share it with me. I'm super happy to accumulate stories, and it is very interesting how people perceive these transits. So feel free to ask any questions as always, and happy transforming, you know, externally, internally, materially. I think that getting your finances in check is really much a theme for me. It may be a theme for you. Also, if you are hoping to receive reading from me, I'm happy to do that for you, so you know exactly what is coming through naturally for you, consciously and unconsciously, in your body graph. And you can find my work at www.electromagnetic-identity.com. electromagnetic-identity.com. You know, talking so much makes me all like sometimes, but I just want to deliver some questions of the week real quick before we end here. How does this pulse of mutation allow you to inwardly transform whilst we are still in the season of winter? So that is again for North America. And are you reading books or writing? How does that look for you? What does this rest cycle look for you? What does the active cycle of transforming look for you if you are in a eastern or hot climate right now? How have the transits under the Godhead Vishnu served you? What has been preserved physically, mentally, spiritually, or even materially? So what does that look like for you? What is your main focus you are working towards this year? And if you're not sure, how are you physically making yourself seen? even if you seem to have nothing. So I think that it is wise to make yourself seen, especially when these type of gates come through. So being in the right place at the right time may mean going out of your way to do something new, or it might just happen naturally. You know, you go to the grocery store this time today and something will happen, some friction or some chemical reaction with another person where they will see you in a certain way that makes you have a talk or a chat with them, see what happens. And how can you self-initiate? So I think that this transformational period, it's you become on your way to getting the mentorship that you need for this year, but also what are you doing for yourself instead of seeking out mentorships while you work up the physical capacity to do those classes? How are you self-initiating yourself every day, whether that being a ritual or protection or something that helps you know where you're going? Let me know how that goes. And feel free to follow me on Instagram as well. It's under EliteMime93. Super happy to chat with you guys today. Until the next transit.